Welcome to Korosi Indonesia podcast. This podcast is part of Indonesia AMPP program. I'm Febrina Puspitasari Waluyo together with my host Richard Basari. In this podcast, we will talk about being a corrosion engineer in UK. There are a lot of advantage working as diaspora overseas. They are better salary, expand your networking, and gain new perspective. In today's podcast episode, we will discuss with Mas Khairul Ichwan. Currently, he is the engineering coordinator for Medco Power Indonesia. Previously, he worked for Vermilion Energy and Materials and Corrosion Engineers for Shell in Aberdeen, UK. Okay, let's welcome Mas Khairul Ichwan. Hello, Mas Khairul Ichwan. How are you?
Hello, Anna. Hello, Richard. I'm good. Thank you very much.
Okay, so Mas Hairul, welcome to Podcast Korosi Indonesia. Maybe the podcaster in here are wondering who is the special guest in this podcast. Maybe can you tell us more about yourself? Where did you go for schools and your work experience, and also maybe your hobby?
Sure. Thank you very much. As Anna has mentioned before, that my name is Khairul Ichwan. I have two names actually. In Indonesia, I introduce myself as Irul, but in the UK, people have difficulties pronouncing my name. So I told people in the UK that my name is Kai, just to make it things easier. So
Yes, it's good.
yeah, unlike Richard, he has a very global name, so no problem.
My parents, it's a good parents. He knows that I'm a will global.
Yeah, good one. And then I I went to University of Indonesia, Universitas Indonesia. I did metallurgy and materials engineering for my undergrad. Back then, I I tend to like more corrosion compared to other field of specialists in the field of metallurgy and materials. And then I did my undergrad thesis on the corrosion inhibitor testing using polarizations. And then after that, I continue my study in the University of Manchester, um, doing corrosion control engineering for a master degree. And then, yeah, after that, I did an internship with Shell UK in Aberdeen for 3 months. It was an assess internship. And after that, they decided to offer me a graduate program in the Shell UK as a materials and corrosion engineer. And I did that for 4 years, materials corrosion engineer with Shell UK. And then I decided to go back home, continue working as a materials corrosion engineer for Vermilion Energy, but they don't have any office in Indonesia. So it was at the start of pandemic, so all these companies changed their work culture, I guess. So I work from Jakarta supporting Vermilion Energy assets in the Europe. And then yeah, since July 2020 during the pandemic, I joined Medco Power Indonesia as an engineering coordinator. Hobby, I guess my hobby is always related with sports. So I played basketball since I was a kid. Played it professionally until senior high school before I stopped and decided to focus myself on studying. And also my hobby is football. So I guess those two are my main hobbies. Thank you.
Wow, okay, cool. Cool introduction. So we have same hobby, Mas.
Oh,
I
really?
also my hobby also basketball.
Oh, wow.
So try
Good.
to get some
But I
time. Okay.
think Mas Carol taller than Anna.
Oh,
Yes, I am 187 centimeters. That's my,
That's tall for Indonesian.
yes, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
cool. Okay. So the next question, maybe this question will help the listener who are in the process of deciding where to continue study. So, Mas Hairul, can you tell us briefly why do you want to study abroad?
Yeah.
And why materials and corrosion? What is your study objectives and personal drive in choosing University of Manchester? And tell us about your thesis topic.
Cool. That's a long question. So please
Right.
remind me if I don't answer that questions perfectly. So yeah, why did I went to Manchester for studying? I always had, I guess it came from my parents. My dad, he studied abroad. So growing up, I always hear stuff about, studying abroad outside Indonesia. So it's always in my mind, in my brain. I don't know when, I don't know how, I don't know what I'm gonna study, but it's always in my mind since I was a kid. And then after I graduated from UI back in, I guess it was February 2014, um, I was jobless. I did a 4 months. I don't know whether I call it internship or on the job training in TGI, or also well known as Transgasindo or Transportasi Gas Indonesia, as an RBI engineer. It was only for a short tenure. It was only for 4 months, and during that time, I didn't get any chance to work to continue my work there, and also in different companies. I think it was the start of the oil price crash. I think 2014, 2015. So it was a mission impossible to get a job in the oil industry as a fresh graduate. So I thought, yeah, okay, let's just try going abroad, while I'm still young, still have time. So I decided to apply for both scholarship and University of Manchester. And why materials corrosion? I guess during that time, I just don't really know what I want to do, whether I want to become materials corrosion or something else, you know. But yeah, that's what I know. That's what I like during that time. So yeah, and then to be honest with you, I'm sorry if I disappoint, but my objective was really just trying to get abroad, you know, during that time. So yeah, um, doing abroad for free, I guess. So yeah, that's how I ended in Manchester, in September 2014. I did the program for a year until 2015. Uh, can you please remind me again what was the next question? I remember the
So,
thesis, but before that, I think you asked other questions.
okay. And why materials and corrosion?
Okay, I guess I already answered that part. It's the only field that I understand during that time, and obviously I don't know if I speak this for all materials corrosion engineers in Indonesia, but I get the impression that we know that, Manchester is one of the best place to study
Yes,
corrosion.
I think
Yeah, Pak
indeed.
Richard. Eh?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It is. They have very good material science and engineering program. One of the best in UK. Yeah.
yeah, yes. I think during my time, and I still think it's still the same until now. It was the third best after the Oxbridge, Oxford, and Cambridge.
Mm,
So that is some statement there from Manchester. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, I went to Manchester, but I think everyone agrees that it was known for UMIS instead
yeah.
of University of Manchester. And even until now, people, even including me, alumni, the new generation, we always introduce, yeah, we went to UMIS, because if you mention UOM or Manchester, people like, okay. But if you mention UMIS, I think people straight away get the idea where you came from.
Mm,
So that's one of the reason, including a lot of my lecturers in UE, they went there
mm.
during the 70s, 80s, and yeah, they mentioned it was a good place to learn. So yeah, that's how I decided. I think I had the option, one of the option for a good place to study materials corrosion field was in Akron, Ohio.
Mm. Yes.
But again, I was such a bad student, lazy one, so I didn't have time. or I guess I have, but I just didn't want to waste my time on studying GRE, GMAT, or I don't even get the name right. I don't know, but yeah,
Yeah,
the moment I heard that, I was like, nah.
there's also good program in Ohio State University and University of Ohio.
Yes, yes, I heard about that.
Mhm.
So, so yeah, and then because going to Manchester is submitting applications, um, get recommendations, and IELTS, the English language test,
Mm.
and yeah, it wasn't that complicated compared to the US universities. So
Oh, come on. You
yeah,
talk with American alumni.
yeah, exactly, very chat, yeah. So and you need to remember that I was just graduated. I just spent what
Yeah, yeah,
6 months
yeah, yeah.
writing dissertations. I just want some chill time. So and then I
The
guess moving to
thesis.
the thesis,
Yeah.
yes, moving to the thesis. Fun story. Initially, so I consulted with I guess, with the guy who recruits me in TGI, and he was my mentor back then. He was in the Corrosion group actually.
Oh,
Richard and
okay.
Anna
Yeah.
is Pak Ahmad Muntohar. I think is very well
Yeah,
known
yeah,
for
yeah.
specialists.
Yes, in CP.
Yeah. So I consulted him. Look, now I'm gonna start doing my thesis in Manchester. Any ideas? And then he said that, well, because he worked, and then he advised me to do some things that can be directly applied to the real life. So something related with the integrity, life cycle maintenance, RBI, on that sort of um, topics. Yeah. And then I went to my, what do you call it? It's not mentor, but I went to my professor basically.
Professor. Yeah.
My professor, yeah. His name is Stuart Lyon or Leon. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. He's a professor, and he's a very, very a true researcher, I guess I should
Uh,
say. And he gave me a lecture, 30 minutes lecture of, but this is in the university, you know, and Manchester have a history of having like a proper research paper. It RBI is just not Manchester enough,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and at the same time, it's not his field of research.
Mhm.
So okay, I told him, like, give me a few days. I'm gonna have a think about it whether I need to change supervisor, professor. But then I just thought, I think he's a very well known of being very difficult, one of the best one. And there's
Yeah.
only four students
Yeah.
under him, including me. So I was like, yeah, okay, I guess that's cool. Working under him, get that reputation as the
Yeah.
special one. So yeah, I told him, look, whatever you say, I'm gonna follow you. Okay. And then during that time he got a project with um a company called Elcometer. I
Yeah, yeah.
think
That's a company that makes the coating thickness tool.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So during that
All
time,
about coating quality measurement tool.
exactly. Um, so yeah, during that time they were developing a new tools.
Mm.
When I said a new tool, it's not like a completely new, but it was like an upgrade for the previous version, the previous products.
Mhm.
So they want me to basically do a test using their equipment and confirm whether it's good. Basically, in simple term, whether it's good enough or not.
Yeah.
So what I did with that was I do a salt deposition test on
Mm.
different materials, electroplated materials, normal carbon steel, stainless.
Mm.
Uh, I can't remember. I think it was three or four materials.
Mm.
And what I did was I put a salt solution onto it, and then it was part of a coating application, right? So before you apply coating, you need to ensure the cleanliness of
Yes.
the surface material, right?
Yeah.
So what that equipment did was it measures the salt content on the
Yeah.
surface
On
of the
the
material.
micro
Ye-
cements,
yes, yes.
rice or
And
pads.
so actually, I cannot remember very well, but
Yeah.
it was some sort of they were trying to provide also an alternative to Bresel patch
Oh, okay.
method. I think during that time, I think that was the one of the objective of my professor to provide an alternative. Don't ask me why he wanted to provide an alternative, but that was it. So yeah, I spent days in the lab every day doing salt deposition, basically, and then try to measure the salt. So
Okay.
yeah, that was my thesis in Manchester.
Good.
Yeah.
Anna?
Actually, is in Manchester you got scholarship or is it
Ah, yeah,
paid
that's
by?
true. That's true. So yeah, I applied for one of the most um, famous scholarship provided by our government.
Prestigious scholarship.
Yes, you can call that. But it was during the early, I think it was only the second year or even not even first year. I can't remember, but I was the very, very early stage of that scholarship program, LPDP program by the
Okay.
government.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
during that, yeah, and I remember, I think I was the first who applied for corrosion.
Okay.
I
hmm.
cannot remember correctly, but I think so
Mm.
during
Okay.
that
Will
time.
you mind to tell us more how to get the scholarship, especially
Yeah,
relate to girls and corrosion field?
Yeah, because I think that is something that you say to them, right? So they trust. And okay, I give the
sure,
money for you. You say
sure,
you just I believe you didn't say okay, okay guys, I just bored here. I want to go overseas.
sure. I think what I wrote was
Yeah.
it was
What is
related with
your
the
what is your big dream for Indonesia at that time?
sure. Yeah, I think what I wrote was something that um, really surprised me when I
Mm.
joined metallurgy in UE.
Yeah.
I think Prof Joni, Professor
Yeah,
Joni
yeah.
Wahyuadi, he was one of the lecturer in my faculty. He told us, the new students, that he showed this data about the corrosion. It's
Mm.
around 3% of the US GDP.
Mm.
I'm sorry if I don't get the number right, but something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was really surprised and also shocked at the same time because, I mean, if you ask people on the street, they don't even know what corrosion is. If you
Yeah.
ask people in SCBD, for example, or in Simatupang office, they
Mm.
don't even know. I mean, we're talking about,
Mm.
educated people. They don't even know about corrosion. But
Mm.
suddenly, it takes a significant amount of money to a
Mm.
GDP compared to a GDP. So it really struck my mind. And then,
Mm.
so that's what I put. I think it's very important. And then if we can get our asset integrity management, shall I say, properly, in a correct way, in a proper manner, there's a potential to reduce it. And during that time, my research, I cannot find the numbers for Indonesia,
Yes.
but again, it years. It has been, I don't know, how more than 5 years since I wrote that, but I managed to get a number for Malaysia.
Mm.
So I think maybe that's a good comparison. Indonesia, Malaysia, I guess. So, and it was also a significant amount, yeah, to the GDP. So that's what I did. But I didn't talk much. I mainly just to raise awareness that it is important. People don't even know about this. People overlook this. So I guess if, you know, by studying this, if I have the chance to work, blah blah blah, you can do it properly and hopefully reduce the costs. That's all what we
Yeah,
want, right?
that's a very honor objectives. So
Yeah.
let's go to the serious part here. So you mentioned that you had the opportunity to work in Shell UK. So can you outline the challenge facing corrosion engineer working in upstream offshore UK, and then
Okay.
try to compare with the upstream in our country in Indonesia?
Sure.
What is the
Uh,
difference in how they manage the mechanical integrity and their assets there? And also, what is the similarities?
right. Sure. Again, remind me if I forgot the questions.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, sure. But first, being um, to be precise, being a fresh grad corrosion engineer in the UK, the challenge is I will never forget about this.
Mm,
It's to have the right mindset. I don't know whether this applies to all metallurgy and material student in Indonesia, or was it only me? I
mm,
don't know. But when I was in the UE, I get this impression, stories from alumni, that in Indonesia, if you're being a corrosion engineers,
mm,
consultant do your work. All you
mm,
need to do is review their work.
mm,
But the difficult studies, the real engineering, the classroom knowledge that you have, the consultant use it. You don't use it.
mm,
So when I did the internship with Shell, that was my mindset.
mm.
So first week it was a nightmare. I think my boss already want to fire me because I was just sit down and relax, waiting. Where is my consultant? You name it, oceaneering, whatever. Where are they? But no. And then I had a session after a month with my manager. I explained, don't get me wrong, I'm not that lazy. The
Yeah.
reason I didn't do work already because my expectation was like this and that. And then he told me that no, 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 you're in the wrong place. You need to change your mindset now if you still want to have a future in the company. So that's one of my biggest, really, really biggest struggle
Mm,
because in a short time I need to pick up myself, change my mindset, and really use my knowledge that I have in the classroom. And
okay.
then I guess after that, another important point and one of the biggest challenge is um, not to be shy. You need to stand up. You
Mm,
know, you need to. In Indonesia, we call it nggak enak.
yes.
You know, in there, nope. They want to listen to your opinion, and also they. What really surprised me was they treat you like you're an experienced engineer.
Mm,
So, for example, I went to this RBI session, risk-based inspection session,
mm,
with a big team, inspection engineer, technical authorities, technicians, all this sort of stuff. And they never treat me like a fresh grad or, a newcomer. They come to me with a very, very difficult questions and they expect me to make a decision, providing the right advice. So there was also a challenge for me because I have that mindset of why me? I mean, my technical authority sits next to me. Why you came to me? You know that
yeah.
I'm a brand new guy in the company. So I think those are the three main challenges being a fresh grad um, in the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
And
sorry, Richard. I
the
guess
similarities, yes.
yeah. I guess I might just want one. I just want to add one
Yeah.
that
Go
cannot
ahead.
be overlooked, which is English accent. English
Oh, so
accent.
you managed to receive the Scottish accent?
Yes. Yes. So what I did before I moved to Aberdeen, I spent I think 3 months um, watching a Scottish TV show in Netflix with subtitles, and then I tried to watch it without subtitles. Was it helpful? Yes, a bit. Because as I remember, I think my first week, I had a one-on-one meeting with process engineer. He has a very thick
Thick.
Glaswegian accent.
Yeah.
1 hour came out. My boss asked me, "So, what did he say?" No idea.
No.
No idea. And then everyone was just laughing. But yeah, I think that
Yeah.
was it. It was very important because I think we grow up we watching American television,
Yes. Hmm.
British Harry Potter.
Yeah.
People in Scotland, nothing at all like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very good advice from me, besides your knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I was working in BP in Aberdeen
Mhm.
for I think 14 months when uh, a guy explained the corrosion in Scottish, and I say, "Is that even in English?" And he said, "Yeah, that's in English." Oh yeah, okay. So maybe I will try to listen like more to put attention, like more focus to it
Yes,
because it's actually English.
it
So
is.
I thought it's like a different, but it's English. Just the
Yeah.
accent is the
So
small.
yeah.
They call it we. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
wee hall. What's a
So
wee hall? Oh, that's
yeah, yeah. A
a wee
small
hall.
hole.
Oh, that's small hall. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
it's
So yeah.
nice. Okay, so
Oh, and then the similarities, yeah, you
yeah,
mentioned
similarities. Yeah,
similarities. Now, the problem is I I cannot really say much on that because until now I haven't really worked full time in Indonesia as a materials
yeah.
corrosion engineer. I mean, based in Indonesia, working with Indonesian teammates, clients, government. So I cannot really say much.
Mm,
But yeah, only from some casual conversation, I think BP has the same culture and standards like Shell. I guess
yeah,
that's only based on casual
yeah,
conversation. I cannot really say more than that.
yeah. I
Maybe you know
think one.
better, Richard.
So the question for me, I think one thing that resonate about similarities is I think most of Indonesian facilities also going to aging facilities,
Mm,
and I think most of the North Sea as well going toward aging facilities.
mm,
So integrity engineer is a really important role,
yeah.
especially for Indonesia and also for in the UK.
Mm,
We have also like regulators that reign the asset integrity in here. Like we have ESDM
mm, mm,
about asset integrity. We call it permit number 32, 2021. Just they renew, and in UK they have HSC UK. But the implementation in Indonesia it's not as rigorous as in UK. Yeah, in UK it's more like more information, like is more clear about the chain of decision, and I think the regulator can decide that just to shut down the facilities if they think not safe. But
yeah.
here, it's
Actually, I
corruption
wanna
is number one, the
yes, I
integrity is
wanna put
number two.
comment on that. Yeah, I agree with the last point that you mentioned. I think that's one of the biggest difference in the UK. The government or the HSC have the full authority and freedom to shut down the
Yeah,
plant. And you don't have. I remember one of the North Sea asset. I think they had a leak, so they shut it down, and then they tried to fix it. And one of the recommendation to improve their integrity management strategy, the government come back again a few years later, still not enough. They shut it down again
yeah, yeah,
without leaks, just because they haven't upgraded their integrity
yeah,
management. So
yeah,
it's just show how powerful and serious them about safety in there.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you're correct. Okay,
Yeah.
now let's talk about non-technical things. um I think you earlier mentioned about the working relationship with your manager, but can you more elaborate on that? So in UK, how the way people work and collaborate there, maybe like more specific, like working hours, deliverables, meeting, communication, how the manager's relationship to the team member. Sometimes in Indonesia, it's very, the bapak and the
All
PM,
right. Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
So how the manager balance between technical and non-technicals matters there.
Yes.
I think this is important because I just want to emphasize you can work with one same company, but having two very different culture.
Ah. Okay.
Mm,
Yeah. I think that's also what I found um, inside shells.
mm,
But yeah, during my time in the UK, my my manager, he was can I say? He was very knowledgeable, and in terms of technical, non-technical skills, it was very balanced. I think they one thing for sure, they really care about your development, whether you're fresh
Mm,
graduate or you have 5 years experience, 7 years experience, they still care about your development. So
okay.
they'll still spend a
You're breaking up.
relationship with my
Yeah.
manager. Oh, really? Oh, sorry.
Okay, that's it's already good again. Go ahead.
Uh, okay. So yeah, but my relationship with my managers that work as a corrosion engineer in Indonesia, I literally spent one day, I spent 1 hour with my manager.
Mm,
He gave me a verbal test or test lisan,
yeah.
materials corrosion related stuff. This is the stuff that you learn from first semester until the eighth semester of your undergraduate.
Mm,
So he literally asked me about electrochemistry, um, TOEFL,
yeah.
all
Tough
these sort of
diagram.
reactions, and it was really like back in the uni again. So
Mm,
how much he really they really
yeah.
want you to have a good basic. I think
Yeah.
that's my impression of them
Mm,
from the technical skills. And then in terms of the work life itself, I got a lot of good stories. One thing that I won't even ever forget was, I got a story from an alumni. He worked in one of the big oil company in Indonesia.
mm,
He told me that finish my work at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. I will never left my office until my boss left the office.
yeah.
Oh, I was like, oh wow, so that's how I need to do it. So as
So
a
it's
brand new,
so scared.
exactly, and I'm not. Yeah, this is like anyway. And then first week in the office, new guy. I want to make a good impression. I still
Yeah.
remember Friday. It was it was 4:30, and
Yeah.
then I decided, okay, I'm gonna stay at least until 6.
Yeah.
At 5 o'clock, my manager came to me. What are you doing here? And then I didn't do anything, but I was just lying, right, to him that,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I still have some stuff to do. I want to get it done. Just trying to get good impression. And then he said,
Yeah.
nope, I don't care. Stop your work. Go home now. Enjoy your weekend.
Yeah.
So that's how much they really respect a work-life balance, working
Yeah.
hours. There is no. I remember another thing that my manager told me, that there is no such thing as COB or close of business.
Mm,
No. So if people ask you, you need to submit this COB today. Nope. Challenge them. Challenge them, and basically just don't accept it in the first place. Always try to challenge, ask questions. I
okay.
think, yeah, work-life balance is like that.
How
Another
about
good
the deliverables? Deliverables?
yeah, deliverables. Again, nothing really special.
Mm,
Basically, I never really get like a tight deadline. Always try to manage your stakeholders. Yeah, I don't really have much special experience on that. It was very normal. Just negotiate your expectation with them. When do you and how do you going to deliver things, reports, etc. Maybe because I was mainly supporting operating assets.
mm,
Maybe if I was in projects, it would be much different, much tighter.
yes. Deadline,
Exactly.
deadline, deadline.
Deadline.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good. It was
Okay.
good. Yeah.
So maybe last question from me before Anatix. So as a person who working in two different countries with the two different cultures, what are the three? If three is difficult, maybe one it's okay.
Oh,
Um, what things that you can share with Indonesia colleagues so they can improve themselves to maybe like a good to have opportunity to working overseas like you or to be a global player, like try to quantum leap, not more
Mm,
not like a working for Indonesia, but also
yeah,
in doing in the global things.
sure. Uh, yeah, I have a lot to say on this. Pardon me, but when I work in Indonesia, it was a culture shock for me because
Oh,
my
okay.
my
I
first
bet
book,
yes.
yeah,
Even I
uh,
drove car. First day I drove car in Indonesia. I'm shocked, almost death, because people passing me from the left.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
This has never happened in
absolutely,
UK. So my wife said,
abs-
"This has never happened in UK." I say, "Remember, we are in Indonesia."
absolutely, fully agree with that. But yeah, work-wise, I guess really my main message, but and I'm talking this based on UK and Europe experience. I cannot say on
Yes.
Middle East, US, they
Yeah.
have different cultures. Maybe they are the same, maybe not. But basically, don't be afraid to admit your mistakes.
Mm,
This is the first thing that I really noticed the biggest difference. In the When I was in the UK, you make a mistake. Yes, oh sorry, that was my bad. I didn't do this, blah blah blah. Okay, what can I do to fix that mistake, or not to repeat it? But in here in Indonesia, I found that people, when they don't know or they made mistakes,
mm.
they try to. In
Hide.
Indonesia, I'm gonna say it, muter-muter jawabnya,
Oh yeah.
mana-mana. There is
Yes.
no
Yeah.
substances on that. It's just an
Yeah.
empty answers, but
Yeah.
it's gonna cost you 50 minutes waste of time.
Mm.
This is what I found, and I kept telling my colleagues that, look, guys, it's okay. It's not gonna affect the judgment from your manager. I can guarantee you that. So
Yeah.
this is one of the biggest thing. And because the problem is, if you do that in the UK, or even I have some experience in Netherlands, they are very direct. The Dutch are
Mm.
very direct. If you do that, oh, they're gonna say it straight to your face, and you're gonna feel really, really bad. So don't do that. The second was is the second one, I think, that you need to prepare is, don't be shy. You need to stand up. Don't ever feel like, oh, I'm Asian or I'm still young.
Mm.
He has 30 years of experience.
Mm.
I think what I get, people in the UK or Europe in general, they treat you the same,
Mm.
especially in the current years, in the current generations. They treat you the same. They want to hear your opinions. So please don't be gak enak.
Mm.
You have equal opportunities. They respect your opinions. And the last thing I want to say is, still related with don't be shy, don't be afraid, is there is no such thing as a stupid questions. So please
Mm.
do ask the question, because I think that is in our culture since we were in the school.
Yeah.
You ask question and people like, "Ooh, why are you asking that question?"
Ooh.
You know.
You not
But
read the book, ta?
yeah.
There's in
So
the book. There's in the book.
yeah, yeah. So, and it was one of my problem when I was in the UK, in Netherlands. Not brave enough to ask questions.
Yeah.
It caused me a lot of problems. It caused me a lot of problems because I was trying to solve it by myself. I'm afraid people will look at me as, he's stupid. He don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
So I decided to do it by myself, and yeah, it's not effective at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess
That's
that's
good.
my main
Yeah.
message.
I
And
think. I think
yeah,
that's good. Mm. Go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead. You want to say
yeah.
something?
I think you also mentioned about on the non or soft skill side, but I think
Mm.
in the regulatory side, talking about visa, I guess. Um,
Oh.
yeah, I think visa first, for sure, you need to get sponsored by the company.
Mm.
I think since the Brexit, UK has a different policies. They are now more open. They treat the EU and the non-EU as
The
equal.
same. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The listeners, you need to confirm that in Google, BBC. But during my time, it was very difficult because the priority is the British citizens,
Yeah.
and then the Commonwealth and the EU,
Yeah.
and then after that, the rest of the world.
Mm,
So they need to make sure that they they publish the job vacancies, and then they need to confirm to the government that there is no British people qualified or apply for the job,
mm,
and then they move to the EU, and then they need to confirm there is no EU people
mm,
qualified or working apply for the job, and then that's the moment we can, as Indonesian,
mm,
apply or considered for the job. Now, I found a loophole. Luckily, I found a loophole on that. In the UK, if you go through their immigration or home office website,
mm,
spend some time on it. I found that there's a working visa, which is a tier two with a special category,
mm,
which called a special occupation list.
mm.
So what it means by this list is that this is the list of the jobs that lack of resources in the UK.
Yeah.
Means that not enough people have this expertise, background, or education.
Yes.
And surprisingly, you will not believe me, but surprisingly, the list of the job that was mentioned in there was geologist, process
Mm.
engineer, mechanical engineer, electrical
Really?
engineer. Yes,
All
it's not
sorts of
even.
engineer.
It's a very basic engineer, like civil
Yeah.
engineer. It's not like
Yeah.
you need to master
Like
laser or
orthopedics or yes.
yeah, or nanotechnology. It's not even that advanced. Because I think I remember during my time in there, from the study time and the work time, everyone in the company told me that the teenagers or the young generation in the UK,
Mm.
they prefer non-engineering major
Yeah.
degrees, so they
Yeah.
have this shortage of people. So that's how I found the loophole, and then I told Shell about this. They don't even know about it. I told my manager, he doesn't even know about this. Even the HR consultant who work on this, they don't even know about this. So I guess it was a lucky day for me. It was a jackpot for me because
Yeah.
otherwise it will be very difficult. So yeah,
Yeah.
please make sure to check
That's
that list.
yeah, that's a good advice. I think on the don't there's no such a stupid question and dare to ask the question. There's also a really good, lesson learned that we can learn that, especially for Anna as a fresh graduate. That's indicate
Yeah.
that you have to have like a strong fundamental of your technical knowledge, because once they give you an opportunity to speak, if you have a background, if you have solid fundamental technical skills, you can say words and they know, oh, this kids know what he's study about. But if you not like read, you not learn, when they give you an opportunity and then you say something that is very obvious that you don't really know about your subject, that's really, it will be really obvious. So there is like a there's a two side of things there. Yes, it is like a free to speech culture, but other side for that does makes a very like high expectation for you
Yes,
to know what are you studying about in your university. You have to
absolutely.
know really about that. I learned the hard way as well when I was did my my study in America. Okay, good, good.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Yeah.
for
Over to you, Anna.
Chart for the advice. So the question is, what would you advise for Indonesia engineers, regardless of fresh graduate like me, of experienced hire, if they want to work in overseas, especially in UK? And what things that one must prepare and the legal paperwork that one must prepare?
Yeah, I think already touch on that a bit about you need to find you need to understand the visa requirement, because in my experience, surprisingly, even the HR consultant, they have no idea about the loophole that I just told you about, a special occupation list.
Mm,
And I think it will be the same for other countries. I check I used to check Australia years ago. They also have this kind of list. And then when I open it, yeah, it's not that specialized job. It's a very basic job.
Yeah,
It's a mechanical engineers.
yeah,
We have God knows how many mechanical engineers in this country, you know. So I think that's it. And then yeah, again, you need to prepare yourself that the culture, the work culture, I'm talking mainly the work culture, it's different from Indonesia. It's different. So please do stand up for yourself. Please do, don't be shy. Um, yeah, and last but not least, um, I tell you one good story if you still have time. I hope.
yeah, sure.
I just I well, I'm not helping, but one of my close friend, he's now working in Middle East basically.
Mm-hmm.
Just recently moved there, and then he went to me. Oh, look, I'm gonna do the technical interview. Can you please tell me, the tips and trick? And I told him, I can guarantee you, it will be a very technical stuff, even the stuff from your university that you might have forget about it. The basic reaction, you know, explaining CO2 corrosion, not only morphology, but including the reactions. And then he told me that he studied like he was preparing for the final exam in the university.
Mm.
You slept over time, something like that. And then thankfully he got a job, and he told me that that's exactly what happened. The questions was very, very technical. So what Richard is mentioning, that yes, don't forget to make sure that you have a very good technical knowledge and foundations behind it. And again, I'm not just talking about how to do intelligent pigging, but you need to make sure that you know the physics behind it, the calculation, all this sort of stuff. So yeah, they really want you to be really good at it. So I guess that's a couple bit of advices that I can provide.
Yeah, I think apart from the fresh graduate question from Anna, the development as well that you mentioned. Like I know that Anna just recently graduated. If development is really important things, if you don't have like opportunity like from your manager or from your office, just you need to create your own development, right? Whether there is a turnaround event, you go as a
Yes.
volunteer, and then
Mm.
Yeah.
or you attend the webinar, free webinar. There's tons of free webinar related to materials. I just want to say that don't make it excuse because you are in Indonesia. There is a less opportunity for development. You know,
Yeah.
you have to define your future by yourself. That's I think that's I just want to add that.
Yeah, I think you touch a very good point there, Pak Richard, because
Mm.
one thing that I missed, but I think is very important, is I said you need to stand up and be proactive.
Yes,
It's also
proactive.
about looking opportunity. Like, you think that process engineer, they are doing a really interesting job. Go
Mm.
ahead, ask your job, ask your boss,
Yeah,
ask their boss that I want to know more about this. Is
yeah,
there any opportunity? Don't be afraid people to say that alah cari muka nih gitu.
yeah,
No, no, no,
yeah.
no, 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 no,
No,
no,
no,
no,
no.
no,
Yeah,
no. No. Just do it. Ignore
yes,
about that bad voices. So it's
yeah,
very important. It's very important.
yeah.
And because look, they will not give you a golden plate in front of you. You need to look for it.
That's
So
right.
so yeah, thanks
That's
very much, for Richard.
that's
Oh,
proactive things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
And it,
try.
it, it applies also for the people with experience, right? Not only fresh
Yeah,
grad. Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
So there is no limitation in terms of age for learning, right?
Yeah, because you'll be surprised. I still believe that out there, there's still a materials corrosion engineer whose experience is only, for example, oil field. They
Mm.
don't have enough knowledge for the gas field.
Yeah,
So when you're in that situation, you need to ask. That's what I did. I think 3 years I spent in a sweet gas field, CO2,
Yeah,
and then I felt like I need to have more experience in sour. So I go
yeah.
around asking my colleagues, and then finally I managed to get one.
Mm,
So yeah, very good, Parichard. Thanks for bringing
you're
that.
welcome.
Thank you, Pak. Thank you, Mas. So maybe uh, for the last question, or maybe Parichot, is there any question
No,
from me
I'm
before
I'm good.
the closing question? Okay. So, Mas Khairul, where people go if they want to know more about yourself?
Oh, that's a difficult one. I have LinkedIn, but I'm not very active in LinkedIn. When I said active is open it every day or posting stuff. But for sure, if you send me message and on LinkedIn, I will reply. Don't worry about it. And then you can also reach me on WhatsApp if you want to have a chat. I asked some questions to Parichard over because I know him from the WhatsApp group, or even years before when I was moving to Aberdeen, Parichard. I don't know if you
Oh yeah,
remember.
yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember. I think you WhatsApp me. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We were some in Aberdeen, but we never met in Aberdeen.
Yeah. And that's a good example. And I didn't know him. I just know he's in Aberdeen. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead shoot the question. So yeah, in WhatsApp group, um, I'm a silent reader, but I always read all the interesting discussion. So I guess WhatsApp and LinkedIn, that's the best way to reach me.
Or maybe
That's
there
good.
is email?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, it's a long email. My name is difficult. It's
Oh, it's
but yeah,
maybe
it's yeah.
if
Go on.
your
if
email will be
yeah, if you don't
mentioned
mind,
in the
if it
description.
to be
Yeah,
shared,
it's
maybe we can just share in the
yeah
descriptions.
below here. You can edit it.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm also open to discussions. Especially now I'm working in the power industry.
Yeah.
So as again, it's a brand new thing for me. Turbine blades, boilers. It's a different beast from the oil and gas. So yeah, I'm open to any discussions in the
Well, as
future.
long as they still use materials, they still need materials engineer for sure, I think.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah,
Okay.
Okay. So because the last question already answered, so maybe for the closing, thank you for the time, Mas Hairul Ikhwan.
my
Maybe
pleasure.
wish you all the best for your future endeavors. And also, thank you for the listeners who listening this podcast. If you enjoy this podcast, please ensure to like, subscribe, and share the podcast Spotify and YouTube link. We hope that you find this podcast are useful in support your professional engineering job. If you have questions or feedback, please let us know. You can contact us through email at the description below. And thank you. Stay safe and healthy, everyone. Let's increase corrosion awareness in Indonesia with Corrosion Indonesia podcast. See you next time on Korosi Indonesia podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank
Okay.
you, Mas Hoirul. Oh, wait. Actually, after this, we have
Yes.
session, photo session.
Okay, I will turn off the recording.